and their families are welcome this evening. How are you doing today? It's the 29th day in the month of January, and gradually we're saying goodbye to January. Very, very fast. This is like the fastest January ever, I must say. You're welcome this evening. I hope you're doing well wherever you are. This is Safe Space, and this is where we have conversations around helping us live better lives as families, conversations on gender based violence, abuse, and how to live a safer world, in a safer world and safer environment for every single one of us. This is where you get to have conversations around family, relationships, and everything in between. My name is Pinfolua Akiremi, and as always, I'm here with Barrister Olumide Kayode Omoshebi. Good evening, Barrister. How are you today?
Good evening, Fee. Awesome to see you again.
Same here.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you once again for tuning into Safe Space. We really appreciate and do not take you for granted. So, Fee, today I would like us to talk briefly on the role or who our parents are.
Hmm.
Now, why am I bringing up the topic of parents? Very important. Now, according to our statistics, almost 40%, that is 39 point something something, we estimate to 40%
Yes.
of failed marriages, that is separations, divorces, domestic violence, and abuse, are caused by parental interference.
Hmm.
Now, what does parental interference mean? It means that when a couple allows, or a spouse, let me not say a couple, a spouse, that is either husband or wife, has a parent, either father-in-law, mother-in-law, that is not happy that you are marrying that particular person or does not like that particular person.
Yes.
The statistics show that the marriage, especially when it is someone who is connected to their parents or their families, that their parents play a huge role in their decision making process. Uh,
Yes.
the marriage already has a 40% chance of failure just because either the father in law or the mother in law does not like you. So I want to trace it back a little bit to who are parents. Now, the Oxford Dictionary or Merriam-Webster as well defines a parent as one who brings forth an offspring or one who nurtures and raises a child or one who legally adopts a child. Excuse me. So it shows you that you can be a parent in one of three ways. Either you are the one who gave birth to the child, or you are
Yes.
the one who raised the child, or you adopted a child
Yes.
through the legal process. So you can be a parent by these three factors. And this also goes for children. It means that the fact that you gave birth to a child does not automatically make you the parent of the child, which means you can, because the child could be legally adopted as well, then someone else could raise and train the child, and then also the biological parents of the child. So, as parents are with children, so are children with the parents. I can choose this person to be my parent or legal custodian because this person adopted me, or this person took care of me, sent me to school, did everything for me, or because this person is my biological parent.
Hmm.
So you can be a child in three ways, and you can also be a parent in three different ways. So, of all definitions and qualities of parent, of the parent, The only trait that is agreed upon universally is that a parent is the one who wants what is best for the child and
Yes.
always works in the best interest of the child.
Mm.
So the fact that I gave birth to you does not necessarily mean that I want the best for you.
Best.
I would,
Yes, of course.
I would give you an example. We have a current case of a father who withdrew the child from school and said that the child must come to Alaba to learn a trade.
Mm.
And everybody was telling the father that there's nothing wrong with him going to school and also learning a trade. But to
Trade.
stop
Yes.
him totally from schooling would make him an illiterate. The father said that is what he wants,
Mm.
that is his child. So my point is, it is not every parent that works in the best interest of the child. So a parent, by what I call decision, unanimous definition, what is agreed on worldwide is that a parent is that person who acts in the best interest of the child. The person who wants the best for the child is referred to as the child's parent. Now, I told you that 40% of cases of failed marriages, that is separations, divorces, domestic violence, and abuse, that we have gone through in our offices are marriages that had parental interference, either from father or mother. Now, the percentage is split down 9% from fathers and 30% from mothers in law.
Mm.
So, mothers in law have contributed the most to the breakdown of marriages of their children than any other
Yeah.
familial interference. Yes. So, I have
Wow.
always told you that women have always been the greatest problem of other women. Women have been their own greatest enemy right from time. Now, how would I even, should I give some examples? I have been involved in situations where after marriage, the mother in law went to do omugwo and refused
Mm.
to go back to her husband's house, but insisted that as this man has married a daughter, he has also married her.
Mm.
And then they were just sharing a two-bedroom flat. So it was very inconvenient as the baby is there, the husband, the wife, the mother in law,
Yes.
and this kept leading to continuous, what they call see finish. It started with, why is your husband still at home at 9? Everybody is supposed to have gone to work. Is it that he doesn't have work? From there, eventually a full scale war happened where they had to appeal to the father of the child to call his wife back home. The wife refused to go. Then I told the man to call his own mother to also come into the house. And it became an issue. Eventually, the wife supported her mother and said, if you send my mother away, you are sending me away.
Mm.
Both of them eventually left because the mother kept telling the daughter that she made a mistake by marrying this kind of man. Lots of times you find that if the mother in law, in fact, it is a statement of fact that if you are dating someone whose mother does not like you and you choose to get married, your marriage already has a 40% probability of failure by default.
Yes.
That is, nothing has happened. Just because the mother in law does not like you, your marriage already, because 40% has been by parental interference, 30% by the mother-in-law, 9% by the father-in-law. So let us say it is mother-in-law, so you already have 30% chance of failure. That is without even doing anything. Your marriage already has a 30%
Problem.
probability
Yes.
of failure.
Of failure.
So how do we go about this? You have It is very important, ladies and gentlemen, that during the course of your consideration for someone as a spouse, you must make sure first two things there are. There are some people that don't need parental interference, but they themselves are totally more into their family than into the marriage. There are
Yes.
some people that whatever decision they would make, they must their family must be
Involve their
involved. They have
family.
to, whatever argument you have, they have gone to tell their parents. Whatever thing you want to do, they have gone to tell their parents. The Bible says that for this reason, a man shall leave father and mother and cleave to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. It is very impossible for you to cleave to your family and cleave to your wife at the same time. And it
Mm,
is
you have to choose one.
impossible for your mother also, for your wife to also cleave to her family and cleave to the husband at the same time. You have to release one for one. The only time that I insist that you must contact your parents, especially in the areas of abuse. When you notice that you are in an abusive children or your child, then it means you never raised them up well enough.
That's all. Yes.
Because there is a time that a coach must retire.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot be a coach forever. Once your disciples have been, Jesus discipled people for 3.5 years, and that was enough for their lifetime. He won't have to come and be with them forever. So, here, I want to briefly tell us a matter of fact because now we have more failed marriages than successful marriages, and we have 40% of those failed marriages by cause of parental interference. Once you meet the family of your potential spouse and you notice that they do not like you, ladies and gentlemen, if you are to come to be with me, you I would advise you not to continue with that marriage. It has a very high chance of failure. Very, very high chance of failure. Fin,
Yes, barrister.
you are
I mean,
looking very, very deeply.
I'm trying to soak it in. Everything that you're saying, because how will a parent give birth to a child and still not want the best for that child? It's something that should not be heard of. It's something that should not be seen. Well, the fact that we have quite a number of examples about that particular thing going on every single time, it shows you wonder because the parents as well, who trained the parents to think like that, to say that why would somebody be married and then you still need to put them through uncertainty on like really basic things. It's a lot of issues. Like you've mentioned quite a number of issues and challenges that are going on in marriages and in homes in present day, and I wonder why people do that to themselves and to their families and to their children. Why are you bent on ruining the marriage of your child? So maybe your child is a boy and you're a mother-in-law, and I mean, do you not know that it is your son's marriage that you're destroying? That you're not just destroying his girl's life, you're destroying your son's marriage. And they are more comfortable with their son starting all over again than be. Why would you not even like the person your son or your daughter brought home for no valid reason, barrister? You will see some people, they can tell you it's because they are not from the same tribe or because they are not from the same community. That's why they don't want their children to marry that person. A lot of reasons that are not even I don't think they really hold water or they are justified, to be honest.
Mm. You, the first thing that makes someone ripe or ready for marriage is
Mm.
independence. That is
Yes.
not only financial independence, it's called emotional independence. Someone who can think for themselves, someone who can make their own decisions, not some who is run by public opinion or by family decision. Uh,
Yeah.
I just, as I'm talking, someone sent a message now saying that, Barrister, remember my case. Uh, the woman was in an abusive marriage, and we had intervened and rescued her from the marriage. That is, we got her into a safe house, herself and her child. She had been injured, and we
Mm.
took her to the hospital, and the mother came and said, no, you see what God has joined together, let no man put asunder. And we told the mother that, you realize that your daughter could have died. She said yes, but because her life is in God's hands, that it is when God says, the mother was just adamant that she must remain in the marriage. So while, we got her to the safe house, she was just discharged from the hospital. She was still, it was 2 days. The mother was saying, okay, she was coming to see her, everything. And the mother, she gave her mother the directions, the location of the safe house. And when the mother came, she came with her husband.
Mm.
That is the husband that beat the daughter. While, we intervened and rescued, put her in a safe house, the mother brought the husband there. That
Right there.
he's your husband. He has to know where you are. And then the husband started.
I
You
think the
think
best is not is to don't let the mother know where she is.
so? You see, this thing works in funny ways. The mother who can watch, let me say, the parent who can watch their children in abuse, and it is okay. Those that send their children back into abusive marriages, that are, no, you have to go, you have to stay there, you cannot stay in the house, there is no marriage without its problems, you have to pray, don't worry, it will be okay, everybody has gone through. You have parents who will not even try to rescue, to be a safe place for their children
Mm.
who may be going through an abusive marriage, who married wrongly. That's number one. Then number two, that is the flip side of the coin, are those that, because of one or two reasons, don't like who you married, they will come into the marriage to pull you apart. You have the two sides of the coin. Some who will insist that you must stay together, abused or not, and those who says, this is your husband, they don't want, whether peace or not. So parental interference is a very sharp thing, and we have so many cases that I had to bring it bring it up into the studio now. What do you do, Finny, when you love
Mm.
somebody but your mother does not like the person, and the main reason she doesn't like the person is because the person is from a different tribe?
Oh God, have mercy. I don't know why. I don't know why people do that. I don't know why that is usually a
It
reason.
could be the same
But I
Yoruba
feel
Yoruba. It was the same Yoruba Yoruba.
so that some people can say they don't want their children to marry Jebu, that they are stingy, or I think all these things are just stereotypes. And parents who believe these things we cannot even say they are illiterate because many of them are well educated. It can be for various reasons. For some people, they are not enlightened. For some parents, they probably have personal experiences that they now want to use as a yardstick to judge every other person in that tribe, which is very wrong. Personally, I think that if something like that happens, it's very important to educate your parents and let them know, okay, it is not like that, or and maybe the person in question should prove themselves to that parent. But some parents can be very adamant. They can be very stiff on whatever they believe in, and they can be very hard to convince. Sometimes it can be very hard to convince. But I think you can try to educate your parents, let them know, oh, he is not like that. Even if somebody has done something to you from that tribe, this particular person is not like that, and the person should prove his or herself to them. But I see no reason why we should restrict our children from marrying certain people that they genuinely love, certain people that are kind to them, just because they are from one particular tribe, just because they are from a tribe, or they're from a state. I don't think that is right in any way. It happened in the olden days, and it should stop. Like now, it should stop because a particular it's just stereotype. We say that some people are stingy, their tribe. Some people are angry. We have people that are genuinely kind in that said area, in that said state. We have people who are not stingy in that said state. So I don't know why you use one person's character, or maybe a few people that you've met, to judge every other person from that place. It's not true. And we have good people everywhere, and so we have bad people everywhere. Even the place where you came from as the parent, there are bad people from your tribe. Yes, I
Hmm.
don't know why they do
So,
that.
you know, the funny thing, why I asked you that question is this. Now, we're talking about people that are both Yoruba speaking, but
Mm,
it's not that they're even from a different tribe like Yoruba Igbo. The same Yoruba, someone from Abeokuta
yes.
saying they cannot marry another person from Akure. But guess what? They approve that you marry another man from Europe, which is another continent that
Another
is not
continent.
even black, white, but their next door neighbors, they would not approve. So this is the
Mm,
problem. This is the problem that someone is facing. She had this person who she is in love with, and then traveled for a master's, and the parents don't like this one simply because he's from Akure. Then there's a guy who is sending her all kinds of love messages, and they say, ah, why don't you marry this white? And it doesn't make actual sense where someone you say you don't like, they don't marry from this tribe, which is less than in the same state, like no, Abeokuta, which is 2 states away, but you can approve someone who is 2 continents away.
far away.
Parental interference is becoming something else because our parents' opinion is now being enforced on the children. You
Children.
know, when you
Not
raise,
even suggested
no,
anymore.
no, it's enforced. We have parents
Yes.
who tell you that they will not attend your wedding if you so and so person. They will tell you not to, if you marry this person, then you know you will not do this, they will not do that, they will not do this, they will not do that. And if you go ahead and marry, know that actually you have no more, how
Yeah,
would I
no
put
problem.
it? Your lineage to your parents is totally, and no matter what happens, they will not support. So you had better get it right, because if you now marry and you find that you're in an abusive marriage and you're running home, say, Shebi, we told you not to marry, go back to where you're coming from. So here we are, ladies and gentlemen. The parents, the original meaning of the word parent, the original attribute of a parent is the person who works in the best interest of the child, not in their own best interest, but in the best interest of the child. Now, when you find yourself, you need to watch this, especially growing up, and you don't have emotional security or emotional independence, where your choices are the decisions of your parents or the opinions of your parents, Then, if you want to marry, ladies and gentlemen, avoid these kinds of people. People whose lives decisions are run by the suggestions of their family and not capable of independent thought. It leads only to one end. It is called parental interference. And that is why some people now always pray that either they don't want their mother-in-law to be alive. I've heard that several times. That says, I don't
Mm-hmm.
want a man or a woman whose mother is still alive. So I asked,
Mm.
so would you go and kill all the mothers? And they say no, because they don't want, they know what they are
It's because
talking
of
about.
things like this. Yes, because of issues like this.
Ah,
And they
yes.
can be very unbearable sometimes, Barrister. They can be very, very unbearable. And you just wonder if they were, if you were in my shoes, like, will you like it when somebody is doing this to you? It can be very unbearable sometimes.
We have come to a place where, when you are talking of about 40% of failed marriages was
Mm.
by parental interference in the marriage, then it is a serious thing to consider.
Yes.
40%. It's actually 39 point something percent, but that it will round up to 40%, meaning that in our country, it is good that parents should have opinions. I, in fact, like listening to the opinions when my dad was alive. His opinion mattered more to me because they were intellectual and not tribalistic.
Yeah.
But then you have a problem where you come from a cultural home in the sense of their culture. There was a time I was very close to an Ada, very lovely girl like that. And she
Mm.
said, Olumide, we can only be boyfriend and girlfriend, but it cannot be more than that. I said, why? He said, because I am an Ada, and Ada must marry from their own town, their
Mm.
state. Adas are not allowed to marry outside. And I said, but that is very myopic now. Is it that good men are only in your state? Said that is the culture of Ada. I said, okay, I have heard you. And that was it. Their lives already predetermined by name.
Mm.
Mm. I believe,
It's
ladies
really
and
sad.
gentlemen, please consider this. If you are dating someone and you are considering marriage, and you were introduced to the family, and the family that you were introduced to does not like you, I think it is safe for you to pack your bags. Now, this is the common mistake we make,
Mm.
especially women. Women think that they can pray and then God will change the heart of their in-laws to like them. They say, don't worry, we'll pray about it. There is what
Mm.
God cannot do does not exist.
Yeah.
That if your ways are pleasing to the Lord, He will make even your enemies to be your friends. That is in the Bible. So they think that they
Yes.
will pray, 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 and that their hearts will change. The second mistake is especially women. We think, don't worry, when they get to know me, they will love me. That don't worry,
Mm.
it's because they don't know me, but I will show them that I'm a good person and they will like me. You believe you can change their hearts by good deeds when they see that, she's a good girl. Ladies and gentlemen, when people have prejudged you, their minds are already made
Without
up.
even knowing who you are. Yeah.
So the foolishness that you think you can change the hearts and minds of people saying that, it's because they don't know me. When they know me, they would love me. I will show them what a good daughter-in-law that they have. So you will start doing things that ordinarily you shouldn't do. You will be cooking food and going to serve them at the weekends. You will be sending money that they will be using to facilitate your removal from the house. You'll be sending food that they wouldn't eat, they will give to the children in their compound or serve the dogs. Why? Because they don't like you. And they will believe what you are sending to them was coming from a shrine or it is not safe. It becomes a problem. Ladies and gentlemen, you cannot change anybody's mind. If they don't like you, they don't like you. What do you
You
want
can.
to do? Jesus Christ that was alive did not change the mind of the Pharisees and Sadducees who conspired to kill him. If Jesus did not survive the malice of men, who do you think you are? What good deed do you want to do? Do you want to go and raise their dead? Don't waste your energy. Don't have a false
Yes.
start. Don't have a false start. That is starting at a disadvantage. It burns positive energy. You're already starting from behind, as in they don't like you already. You notice that there's something. Some say, well, the way she carries herself. They say, the way he talks, he looks proud. The way they just begin to concoct reasons not to like you. When you see that, please, for your own safety, leave that relationship and look for where you are celebrated, not where you are tolerated. Look at where
Not even good at all. That you don't give people benefit of doubt at your first meeting. You just don't like them. I think it says a lot about you and the family that about the person and the family that they came from. That's not good enough. You don't judge people just by the way they look or just by what you perceive about them. At least you give them time to prove themselves before you decide that, oh, I don't want to like you, or I don't want to. The fact that we have 40% of marriages destroying because of parental interference is something to be mindful of, and for parents to come together to have this conversation, because you are meant to uphold and build your children's marriages, not pull them down, which is very, very important. If you'd like to join the conversation this evening, you want to share one or two things, you have a similar story, and you like to share with us, you can call us on 07000 917 917. 917. If you have one or two things to share with us this evening, you want to share your contributions, you want to ask your questions, you can do all to call us. We'll be more than willing to hear from you. 07000 917 917. You can also call 09155 917 917. 917 to be a part of the show and to join the conversation altogether. Parental interference is becoming more and more serious on a daily basis. I think some parents will now say, oh, we don't want to interfere wrongly. Maybe that's why they would tell, or maybe we don't want the marriage of our children to get destroyed. That's why they will tell their children to stay in abusive marriages, because they don't want to be the reason why their children's marriage is no longer working. Then they will advise the child to stay in the marriage. I think wisdom is profitable to direct. You cannot watch your child suffer and die in a marriage and say, oh, I don't want to interfere because marriages are now more marriages are destroying because of parental interference. You cannot watch your child go carry emotional baggages just because you don't want to interfere. There is a place to interfere. There's a place not to interfere. You cannot bring see all of this. You don't want. I don't want you to marry from this tribe. I don't. Please let that end. Let that end with last year. That is not a valid reason. It's not. I can't be corrected, but it's not a valid reason to end a person's marriage. It's not a valid reason. There are genuinely good people out there. Cultural differences or no cultural difference, it's not a reason to end someone's happiness or someone's joy. That is like the 1990 way of thinking. And I don't think anybody should do that, to still continue to do that in this present age and time. So if you are a parent, this is a gentle appeal to let your children marry who they genuinely love. I even heard of a situation, barrister, when the man was told to never marry a fair lady. So he was not allowed to marry anybody that is light skinned. When oh, it happened to you. Okay.
I was told, though, I was told, I was told
I had a
that
similar
was
story
why
recently too.
the first women that I dated, my mother bluntly refused by because of their complexion. She
Hmm.
said, èèwọ̀ ẹni wọ́n ti sọ fún ẹ láti kékeré pé o ò gbúdọ̀ fẹ́ aláwọ̀ funfun àbí aláwọ̀ pupa.
God have mercy for real. Like God really have mercy.
So when a girl comes to look for me at home, my mother asked my sisters, what was her complexion? They say fair.
Hmm.
Olumide kò sọ́nà ń bẹ́ o.
Hmm.
That was it.
It's not like she personally went to pray and God said she should not marry.
They
Oh God.
said,
And I think
uh,
barrister, that links to what you usually say about the fact that people believe more in their pastors than what they actually hear from God, like on a personal level. Because skin color, why?
hmm,
Ah, it is well.
I don't know
It
what
is
to
just
say,
well.
but my wife is not dark in complexion, Sha. She's not dark.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Uh-huh. So at the end of the day, I decided to marry who I wanted because
Let's not see what's going to happen.
nothing has happened since. So my they said I can't take ila okra,
Mm,
that I must not take okra. I must not date a fair girl. And there was another one that if I can stay clear of these three, I would live long, I would be rich, and my glory would, so it was just, and all the girls I met that I liked were not dark.
mm. Ugh. This particular guy that I heard his story, he delayed getting married for a long time, and then he eventually married a fair lady, or he eventually married a dark lady, and the marriage was chaotic from the day one, from the wedding day. It was chaotic. It was even obvious to a young child that this marriage would not work. It was really bad. And then I think they had to get a divorce much later into the marriage. And then he got married to, he started dating a fair lady again, somebody that he had loved for a very long time, but couldn't marry because they said he shouldn't marry a fair lady. He eventually went back to that one. All of these things are just they're just stereotypes. If you did not hear God personally tell you that that is your instruction, I know that there are consecrations that God intentionally tell people, oh, you don't do this, you don't do that. It is not a general thing that everybody should now abide by. If God did not specifically tell you by yourself, not my pastor said, my mommy said, my daddy said, if you do not hear it by yourself, please, I
But
beg.
but God created them.
So I don't know.
So how can
I really don't know why we do that.
God lead you against his own creation?
It's creature. I mean, maybe sometimes it's because maybe maybe one particular fair person has been I don't know. I don't even know what example to give. Maybe a fair person from maybe the realm of darkness has been sent specifically to you, so they tell you to avoid every fair person so that you don't come in contact with that fair person. At the end of the day, I don't even know if that is valid. I don't. It's not valid.
They didn't send a fair person to Dangote, Adenuga, people that
Why is it
have
you? They want
value.
to tell fair person.
Me that I don't have the people will be wasting themselves their time to be looking at me and trying to fight me according to them spiritually for what? What do I have that they want to take?
To take. It is just well. It is just well. It is well. If you'd like to join the conversation this evening, you want to share your thoughts with us on the matter, you want to ask your questions, you can do well to reach us on 07000 917 917. 07000 917 917. Hello,
Hello.
good evening. Good evening.
Good evening, Finn. Good evening. Hello.
Good evening, Mrs. Oboli. How are you today? I can hear you.
I'm I'm fine. Oh, Finn of God. How are you? Good evening. Oh.
Long time no see, Mrs. Oboli.
It's good that
Where
you
have you
born
been?
me
I've
now.
been
There is
here.
God. I wish you the
Oh,
same,
I've
my
been
love.
here.
Barrister, good evening, Chow.
Good evening, Madam Opoli.
Let me start
Good to
with
hear
my
you. Good to hear
fair
you.
lady, Barrister.
Uh,
All they want, they count for you. You skip it and you shall do what you want to do. No, Allah. Thank God it turned
mm,
out well. Oh, just
ah, it
Well, I've
is
seen
well.
your wife,
Oh. If
Barrister. She's a
not,
very beautiful soul. Having
if
mentioned
not,
that, there's another angle of parental interference that Finn and Barrister has not mentioned this evening that I want to come from. My beautiful marriage of 20 years would have crumbled due to parental interference. Now, my mom and dad separated, and so I was with my mom, grew up with my mom and everything. But the mistake I made was I was trying to run my own marriage with my mom's template. So whenever anything
Mm,
happened between my husband and I was more or less like a report card. I would report, word for word, verbatim for verbatim. And even after I'd forgiven my husband, you see my mom still bearing those grudges. Even when I tell her, Mommy, forget now, you discover that I was the one that brought her into it because I
yes.
felt I was doing the right thing in the early hours of my marriage. If not, how for they celebrate 20 years now? This man is somebody that he has never reported me to his mom, but I was more or less the report card, reporting everything. So it kept bringing up issues that I was supposed to just trivialize. I would wait for the sorry, I would wait for the, I would keep elongating and, dragging it because I'd already told my mom, so how do I go back and tell her now that we have settled? It was a whole lot. It was so cumbersome. So I would just advise that I got to a point when my marriage almost crumbled. That was when I learned my lesson. But I should have learned it even before now. And so I tell myself, whatever gives, I would never be a stumbling block in my children's marriage except for domestic interference if I see that it would take their life. But for lovers quarrel, I would never delve into it because it will not concern me. You understand? I could always have an intermediary or mediate between both parties, but I will not be a
Yeah.
report card or hold grudge because the boy in question is my son-in-law is my son, my daughter is also my daughter. So I would always make settlement between both parties and not cumber the process. So I learned albeit late, but I thank God I'm celebrating 20 years now because I have stopped being the report card I used to be. I'm now matured in marriage, but it took its toll on me and almost crumbled my marriage. Good evening, Barrister. Good evening, Finn. Finn, I miss you. I
Great
love
to
you,
meet
my
you,
love.
Oboli. I
Bye.
miss
thank,
you too. I
thank
miss
you,
you,
thank you
mommy.
so much. Thank you so much. You
Thank you, Mrs. Oboli.
there must be emotional what do I call it? Independence where
Yes.
you are able to decide and handle some things without reporting.
By yourself.
Yeah,
Yes.
and that's what I was saying. You can't be with someone who is not emotionally independent, that
Yes.
everything they run back to the child.
Their
So
parents. Mm-hmm.
it is on another level.
Those are some of those are some of the things that makes you know that a person is actually ready for marriage beyond financial stability and all of those things. I think emotional stability is also very very important. And it's okay because a lot of people grow, a lot of people would probably grow up and their parents would not let them make certain decisions, so they'll be like, you must tell me everything and all of that. So some people literally grow up like that, But there's always a point in a man's life and a woman's life where you have to like stand on your own and make certain decisions. I'm really happy that, you know, Mr. Boli can, our marriage is still standing to share the testimony and to help other people as well. So yes, if you're getting married soon, you know that you're leaving your father and your mother, you're cleaving to whoever you choose to be with. There's no my mommy say, my daddy say, it's your marriage now, you have to face it. Unless for exceptional cases where you can, you know, seek advice and counsel. But many times you need to learn to stand on your own. The number to
Thank
call
you
this
very
evening.
much.
Okay.
No, thank you. I was thanking you for that submission.
Okay. The number to call to still give your advice or maybe share your thoughts with us, your experiences, or ask your questions this evening is 07000 917 917. 917. You can also call 09155 917 917 to give your advice and to share your thoughts with us this evening on the show Safe Space. What would you have to say? Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening. Okay. All right, looks like we lost that call there. 07000 to be a part of the conversation this evening. What did you have to say? What do you have to say about what we're talking about today? Do you have an experience of parental interference in your marriage, in your home? Or do you want to ask a question? Do you have something in particular you want to ask about this topic? You can do all to call us. Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Barista,
You're
good evening.
welcome.
My name is Joseph, calling from Shagamu. So I
Uche, you're
want
welcome.
to
Good
ask
evening. How are
question.
you today? Okay.
You people are saying somebody, if they see somebody that he likes, why should they either culture or religion or anything stuff? Now I want to ask one question. What of if it's somebody that want to marry my daughter is from either southwest or north central or anywhere? It's not from my side. And when he come, I told him that this is what my culture says. I refuse to comply with it. Can I allow him to continue with the marriage? That's my question.
Now, what we said is that your reason for not allowing or disagreeing with your daughter's choice is because of tribe, not because of character. Some people, whether you are good or bad, it doesn't matter. But because you come from this place, they say, no, we don't marry from that place. So if your reason for not liking the person is just because of where the
Solely
person was
because.
born, that is what we are against. Not that not a particular, not about character or whether some other thing. It is just those that don't like someone simply because of where they come from. That's all.
Thank you, Joseph. Thank you for calling. This made me remember the story we discussed yesterday on Adult Conversation when the guy was asked to pay a particular bride price. He married into an Igbo family, and the bride price was ridiculous. And he told them, I can't pay this, and can you reduce it? And they said in their culture, it's not allowed to negotiate bride price. No matter how expensive it is for you to handle, you're not allowed to negotiate because that is their culture and that is their tribe. And that was why they didn't allow, they eventually allowed him marry the lady, but he had to pay through T's and nose. He had to pay every dime. But they would have easily told him not to marry the girl because he could not afford all the things on the bridal list, which was extremely expensive. So I think the reason also matters. The reason why we will say, oh, it did not comply to this, and the reason is because it cannot buy certain things, it cannot afford certain things. I mean, there are lots of cultural beliefs and different cultural obligations that a lot of people will not let anybody cross. Even for somebody from your tribe can cross a line now, Abby. Somebody from your tribe can do something that is not right sometimes. But I mean, from that story yesterday, the person was almost cancelled because he could not afford everything on the bridal list that was too expensive for him to to afford, but eventually have to pay everything just so that they don't say, "Oh, it's because it's not from our tribe. That's why he doesn't understand." And I felt bad for him, Sha, but there's nothing we could do about it.
It is well. It
Yeah.
is well. Thank you very much, Fee, for
Thank
another
you very much.
fantastic session. Hopefully, see you next week, Thursday.
Of course, by God's grace.
All right,
Thank you
Fee.
so much. Thank you so much, every single person who listened this evening to Safe Space. We hope that you were able to learn one or two things from the conversation. Don't forget to join us next week, Thursday, by 6 p.m. to 7 on Women Radio 91.7 for another great time on radio learning, unlearning, and relearning. Till next week, my name is Bimfolua Kirami, and I was here with Barrister Lumide Kayode from Moshevi. Good evening. Enjoy the rest of your day.